Hello and welcome everyone to yet another episode of We Talk Talent series by ETHRWorld. This is Priya Raghuvanshi, digital content creator, ETHRWorld, and we are glad to welcome Mr. Saurabh Deep Singla, Chief People Officer, Ecom Express Limited, today with us. Welcome, Saurabh.
Hi Priya, good to be here. Always a pleasure.
Saurabh Deep Singla is responsible for preserving the company's unique culture of positive engagement with its more than 40,000 plus employees, overseeing talent management and development, HR service delivery, diversity and inclusion, HR policies and programs. Saurabh has over 20 plus years of human resource leadership experience in designing and executing HR strategies across dispersed organization at the country and global level, with a focus on business growth, operational excellence, talent acquisition, and deriving key elements attached to sustained people practices. So with that, I will shoot my first question to you, Saurabh. So what's your take on gig economy? How mature are organizations in India to capitalize the gig economy?
So, very interesting question, and I've always been very vocal about this gig economy. And in the last couple of years, that we see this is shooting to some different level. I mean, look at India. We want to be a $5 trillion economy. This gig economy, to my understanding, and based on some data that I could collect over the period, it's almost going to be about $400+ billion contribution which will come through gig platform. The way things are moving, you look at education sector, you look at e-commerce sector, you look at logistics sector. All these sectors are getting hugely benefited through the gig. I mean, I'll talk about Ecom Express. As an organization, we are approximately about 65,000 plus people force spread over 3,400 locations, and an ability to touch India 97% inch by inch every day. Can I get people everywhere? Yes. But how do I also make sure that my business is well variabilized, because the demands can be up and down? Gig is the answer. Gig is the answer for that. So for an organization to make sure that there is a set which kind of increases or decreases the supply of the services, the gig workforce overall kind of becomes such a big blessing for us. And it's not just that's for my industry. But apart from that, even when you look at tech roles or support roles, there are enough and more people who are now getting more and more comfortable. People are going to gig platforms. The organizations are also very comfortable hiring them and bringing them on board, because the technology is advancing, and kind of work packets are becoming smaller, which can just go to them and things can then be done.
Yeah, perfectly. It's going to get bigger and bigger in the future, for sure.
It is for sure.
Yeah. So with that, I will shoot my next question. So the biggest challenge you see in talent acquisition space now, and how do you plan to overcome that?
So look, life is continuously getting disrupted. If startups came and they disrupt, and then there are newer ideas that come. As of now, when I look at the country, and we are all aware, the way India is progressing, we are an economy which is progressing super fast across the globe, which is amazing news for everyone. What's happening to the talent? The talent is actually able to see roles which were not existent in the past. One. Two, while there were roles existent, but they've become so much more hotter. You talk about a tech talent, a data science talent, somebody in a planning and engineering. These roles are amazingly high in demand now. And is it that you can just offer a role and your employer brand and a seamless recruitment experience? People still may not join. What they're looking for is a different level of a psychological connect, a DNA match. They would want to know your culture. They would want to know what's the growth perspective. They would want to know what is the amount of learning that you get if I join this organization. With all of that, and plus then COVID came. And COVID actually disrupted the whole game, because what COVID did, that the entire ecosystem of trust got redefined. Yeah, as an employee or as a candidate in the market, you would now go back and watch. Did you fire people? Did you hire people? Did you grow your people? Did you stand by your people? And what new things you did to really make the life and a career of a candidate or an employee reach a different level. So it's no more easy. And at the same time, the way markets are, the sectors are hiring much more aggressive. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of unemployment as well, which is a case which needs to be kind of really, we need to solve that as a country. But there are enough and more sectors, and e-commerce logistics happens to be one of the top exciting sectors, right? I mean, during COVID times, the way we did the hiring. I mean, so Priya, I'll tell you, when COVID happened, in the same year, we retained 95% of my workforce. We never let go of anyone. The 5% were people who probably had to go back to their home, they had to go back to the village, but this was even lesser than the normal attrition that a company would get over 3 to 4 to 5 months. Yeah. Apart from that, we could hire more than 25,000 people during COVID times. Apart from that, we promoted 650 people, because when you hire so many people, and we are a blue collar workforce heavy company, we had to promote a lot more people. One, because we had internal talent. Two, because the bigger workforce needs more supervisors and managers and tech team and support teams. And then what we also do is we keep 80% of our people on our payrolls. I'm not saying the ecosystem of partners that is not needed. They definitely needed. But if I want my employees to be loyal to me, I would be loyal to them for a much longer career. And that's what we provide. With all of these things, even today, if you ask me, I still struggle, because the talent out there has become much more choosy. The supply versus demand is inversely proportional to what it used to be probably 10 years back or 20 years back. So it's a lot of challenges. Organizations have to make sure, one, they're consistent in what they offer. They can't change their stand. Two, it has to be much more flexible and agile. You have to adjust to the role. You cannot have one rule which kind of applies to everyone across the organization. Well, I would need a rider to be on the ground for sure, but my tech resource, I'm okay if the person works from home as well. But yes, you need to blend. You need to keep the connect, because end of the day, if you're not having that touch and feel, your employees may not continue to have the same affection or the connect with the organization. But lot more technology, lot more self-service. People have to be empowered. They don't need to wait for a HR or a finance support in 9 to 6. Their life works very differently. So huge amount of disruption. The talent acquisition teams, I'm sure, are kind of really having a very, very interesting and challenging times. But it's a journey of disruption. It should continue for some more time.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Actually, the pandemic has opened so much layers that an employee wants from the company, and companies also have to give those support to their employees so that they can have a relationship that should be the reason for each of them to be there for each other.
Absolutely. And Priya, in fact, I'll quickly share one more big initiative that we kind of did. And this is something that straight comes from our founders' cell. What we did was, when we were seeing, I mean, we are into e-commerce logistics. My people have to be on the ground. They have to be in the warehouse. So our heart goes out for them. That during pandemic as well, while we did all the highest standards of COVID safety protocols, you still have that risk, right? And those guys are doing all of that. And we would make most of the processes and policies to support the blue collar workforce, because they're like 90% of our people. And if it doesn't work for them, it's probably just for a back office. We launched something called Ecom Cares, where we said, if anything happens to you, COVID or non-COVID, but anything except for suicide, we'll stand by you. We'll stand by your family. So we said Ecom Cares will give you 2 years of uninterrupted salary. We will give education to 2 kids up to class 12, irrespective it's a biker's kid or a vice president's kid. It's a 10,000 rupees per month, because kids are the future of the country, not for an industry or an organization. And third, we said we are a large organization. We are present every 40 kilometers. I have an office across the country. So we said we'll give you a guaranteed job. One next to kin, a family member, as per their qualification, as per their need, we'll give you a guaranteed job. And we are supporting families right now. And this is for Ecom Express as an ethos that we built all of this. We said we will stand by our people. And this is not backed by any insurance policy. This is what we believe is a cost of doing business. If you can't do it for your people, we are an operations company driven by people management and people. So that's the core belief we have.
Yeah, and I think that's how loyalty is built towards both the sides.
Completely agree. Yes.
So I would like to go ahead and ask you, employee engagement strategy has been changed drastically over the pandemic. So how have you been tackling the change around it?
You know, when you deal with such a large workforce, but you want to physically touch them, talk to them, and suddenly pandemic comes, you see the need for disruption. So while we have a very clear structured program of how we connect with people, for us the engagement is about touching them, connecting with them so that they know that the company stands for them. But we've moved into a next level digitization and digital disruption. We now have a digital HR wing which looks at every day what do we change and build a better and stronger employee experience. For us, when you talk about engagement, the engagement for us is one, give a lot more of self-service to people so that wherever they are, they're able to get their queries resolved. So we're bringing in chatbots, we're bringing in more interactive platforms, we're bringing in stuff where it's more of self-service and less of dependence. Number two, this is a time when you have to, one, take care of mental wellness. Two, you have to also continuously upgrade in term and upskill your employees. So there is a huge amount of focus we have on learning and development. So while we've been working with government forums like LSC, Logistics Skill Council, NSDC, and we've been using programs like recognition of prior learning and PMKVY and a lot more government initiatives which are there. We're moving to a digital training where we can provide a lot more engagement through training people. We certainly believe that if you invest in employees, that's the biggest engagement, because they have to grow. Their need to grow is there, and in a fast moving, growing economy, everyone wants to kind of move up the ladder. So first is basics, second is training. The third for us, the engagement model of today is based on trust and care. So what you need to do is to really do right things every day and do not change your stand. And Priya, we recently bagged this Great Place to Work award. It was a journey for Ecom Express. We've never applied it earlier. We said when we will be ready and our employees tell us you're ready is when we will go for it. Our trust index score has come at 88%. And it is a very, very robust score. Our belief is the values that our organization has, right from the founder promoters, and that value system is something that we've taken it to the ground. Our ICOR value system is the biggest engaging factor, I think. Because when you tell people what you believe in and everyone in the organization moves in one direction, the game completely changes, I think.
Yeah, that are some great initiatives you guys are taking. So with that, we'll come to our last question. So I would like to go ahead and ask you about the DE&I agenda you are taking care in your organization.
So a couple of quick things, and it is interesting to share. So one, it's a part of my corporate goal, and two, there is a committee at a board level which reviews DE&I every 3 months. So we've got very, very clear targets. Where do we want to go to? As an organization by 2025, our corporate goal is we will have about 20% of female diversity in our population of employee count that should have surpassed 1.5 to 2 lakh employees. And when percentages are there, these are growing as per the headcount. Where am I today? I am currently at about 4% of diversity, which we are taking it to 8% in this current financial year. I've got approximately about 2,000 females working in warehouses and in excess of 100 females doing biker roles. We are trying to disrupt the belief that logistics is a game where it is only male or men who can dominate. Sorry. The job description to the company strategy to the KRAs, where the DE&I is a part of the leadership agenda as well, we are very, very clear. This game has to be disrupted by females. Priya, for us, we've recently partnered and kind of worked with the government. In Bhiwandi at Mumbai, we've opened the night shift for females in the warehouse. And that's the fight that we want to go with now. We are going to present our plea to the government. It is a safe environment and I'm there to take care as an organization. If you don't open the night shift for female workforce in a warehouse, how do I increase my diversity? Yeah. Apart from this, Priya, we've launched Pink DCs. So DC is a delivery center. We've launched 4 Pink delivery centers in the last 3 months across North, and it is now going to grow. These are completely managed by female leaders and female bikers. There is no male employee who's there in that delivery center. We have a plan to open another 20 this year, which is completely on our radar. Apart from this, for us, the real inclusion happens when you actually get the right representation. So typically, a diversity brings a thought that it is male and female. We're breaking the myth. We are very, very seriously looking at bringing transgender as a drop down in my gender portion in my HR system. We have to learn. We don't want to kind of jump on things, but it is in the corporate goal to do the first experiment and learn with them, at least in some section somewhere. And this is something which is backed by no one else but the CEO. He's told very clearly the diversity agenda will go to the next level when you actually represent the complete set there. So that's the journey that we are on. Are we looking at more? We are learning. I always say it's a journey for us. We have not reached the goal yet. Diversity and inclusion for us is where we stop talking about what is the gender mix, because it should just be so healthy that there is no differentiation that you need to do. As of now, in some roles and in some sections, we're saying put a bias. It is good to put that because the imbalance is huge. We've also recently launched a program which is about growth of female high potential candidates, where we are looking at the ground level staff, training them and growing them into supervisor roles, because unless you have diversity across all the roles in the organization, it doesn't sustain or it doesn't. Yeah. And diversity for us is also about having specially abled fellow colleagues, which we have just next door to our corporate office in Samalka. And we also have people in other parts of the country, which we are now continuously growing. And we are saying that we're focused and we are committed to bringing that part of society as well inside. That's a bit around what we do in terms of diversity.
Yeah, that's some great initiatives. Actually, working on DE&I also comes with a lot of unlearning, which we have been going through the period of time. So it has been great having you for today's episode.
Thanks, Priya. It was a pleasure, and always looking forward to the next session.
Thank you.
Thank you.